Hello all, welcome back to my channel. So this is another waited video. Many people have messaged me before and I thought, okay, let me get started. So what prompted me to make this video is yesterday I saw one High Court judgment which was given. It was related to Motor Vehicles Act. So basically what had happened in that case is an insurance company had denied giving the claims to the person who was injured during an accident, saying that the vehicle fitness certification was not available, and even if it was available, it was not satisfactory or something like that. So High Court said that the insurance company does not have any legal rights to withhold the granting of claims just because the fitness certificate is not available for the vehicle which was involved in the accident. So that prompted me to make this video today. It is about motor vehicles, traffic police, what are your rights, what are your duties, what are your responsibilities. So I'm going to try to cover everything in this one video, so stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing what you have to remember is every person, whoever is driving on the Indian roads, is subjected to these regulations, okay, under many acts. One is the Motor Vehicles Act, and another one is IPC and CRPC. So they all cover in a blanket, they all put in some rules, responsibilities and rights and duties for every person who is traveling on the public roads. Okay, so let's get started. So if a traffic police stops you on the road, are they even legally allowed to stop you on the road is a question. First question which comes into anyone's mind, right? So am I like, why are they stopping me? What have I done? Well, yeah, they do have rights to stop any person on the road, even based on suspicion. They can say that we had our own suspicion that the person is not following the traffic rules. So there is no legal grounds to prohibit the traffic police from doing their duties. Okay, so that is, they are covered under their own acts, so they have legal rights to stop any person on the road based on their own suspicion. That is first. Okay, so next one is once they stop, what rights do you have? Okay, so now that I am going on the road and the traffic police stopped me, okay, so what is my right? First right is I can ask for an identification to the traffic police. So the traffic police has to give their identification to you. Okay, if they deny, if they say that no, I am not going to give my identification to you, you don't have to obey their commands. Okay, so the first right what you have, which you have to remember, is that you can ask their identification, and you can also make a note of their identification for your own purposes. That is your first right. Okay, next, the traffic police gives you the identification and you make a note of the number and everything. And next what? So the traffic police would ask you for a series of things based on what suspicion he stopped. He can ask, so there are primarily 4 documents which they can ask you. One is the registration certificate of the vehicle. Second is pollution under control certificate, PUC. And then third is driving license, your DL. And the fourth one is car insurance policy document. Okay, so all these have to be mandatorily kept within you, and it doesn't have to be in the physical form. There are many online platforms right now. Mainly you can go for DigiLocker, which is a free government run app which stores all your valid documents. And we can also go for Parivahan. Parivahan is another app which also stores all the traffic and your car related, your vehicle related documents in the app. You can house that, you can show those documents electronically also. Okay, so you don't have to immediately show the person. You don't have to physically, it's not immediately, sorry, physically show the person. You can also show digitally or electronically, but you have to show these documents. And next one is Even for example, hey, I don't have all these documents, now what's my right? So first and foremost, DL you should have. Okay, there is no excuse for not having a DL. Okay, a driver license is something which you need to carry with you all the time. Okay, and you have to like you cannot say that I left my DL at home or something like that, because DL is a valid document which needs to be kept with you whenever you take a vehicle. And second thing is, what about other documents? Other documents, you can take your time. You can tell that if it's in your home or for some reason it's in a different vehicle or something, so you can buy the time for it, but DL has to be produced. Okay, and second important thing what we need to talk about is, suppose you have a valid license but it has been seized under some circumstances. Okay, in that case, any government authority who is seizing your license should have to give a valid acknowledgement or a receipt that the license is with them. So that acknowledgement needs to be taken. So that has to be produced. So all these provisions are covered under Section 130 of Motor Vehicles Act. So what does it say is basically the duty to produce certificate, license and certificate of registration. So that is the Section 130, and where it says that on demand any police officer in uniform shall demand for these documents. They have to produce the license and they have to produce the certificate for the examination. Suppose really bad day and you don't have these documents with you. So what are your options? So first things, what you have to understand is that under this act itself, they give a reasonable time for you to produce. So what it says here is that the owner of a motor vehicle, okay, or in his absence his driver or any other person shall on demand by the authority produce the certificate of insurance or any other documents which is referred in Section 56 of this act, will produce the photocopies of these documents within 15 days from the date of demand. Okay, that is another option what you have. So you need to ensure that you ask the traffic police that what are your options. And next one is, for example, if the traffic police confiscates your license. So I already told previously, if they confiscate, what do you have to do? You have to get a valid receipt from them about the confiscation. And second thing is, you have to remember is that the traffic police cannot tow your car while a person is inside. Okay, if a human being is sitting inside the car, they cannot tow. They cannot tow the car. And in case of any harassment from the police, you have a perfectly legal right to give a police complaint on the said police officer, traffic police officer who has been harassing you. Okay, and harassing means, please make a note that asking the documents is not harassment. Okay, so harassment is maybe using bad words or not following the law, or like what are the code of conduct which I just now described. If the traffic police is not following that, for example, he's not showing his identification and and you have refused to give the documents to him, or if he has confiscated the license, or even he has taken the keys. Okay, that's one more thing. The traffic police cannot take your keys of the vehicle forcibly and without your approval. Okay, so he cannot. If he is doing those things, then you can file a police complaint against that traffic police. Many people don't know this. Please remember that you have your rights. Okay, that one. And next one is, what you have to understand is that they have to issue a challan. Okay, a challan to like if you violated any traffic rules, so they have to issue a challan. And in case of spot fine, for example, in case police officer at the scene of the incident is of the rank of a sub-inspector, okay, or above, then you can pay the challan on spot. Okay, in the sense you don't have to, actually the procedure is that you have to go to the government office and pay the challan. But if there is a sub inspector on the spot, he can collect the fine on spot and he can give you the challan. Okay. Next one is the traffic police cannot force you out of the vehicle. He cannot like yank you out of the vehicle, and he cannot do that. He doesn't have those rights to do that. Okay. So that is one. So now you've got a challan, okay, from the police officer. So what are the things what you need to check when you get the challan? The first thing what you have to check is that you have to make sure that what is the issue on which the challan is being issued to you. And second is the name and the details of the court where the trial will be held. Third will be the details of the offense or violation, what is mentioned there. And fourth is the date of the trial. And fifth is the name and address of the alleged offender. The name and signature of the officer issuing the challan. And the last one is details of the documents required. So it mentions all of those things in your challan. So all right, now you have got this challan, and there are few things which I want you to remember before you make things go out of hand. Okay, so first thing what you have to remember is these traffic polices have certain powers which are given by the law. Otherwise they cannot do their duty, right? So they are very much aware of these rules, and they are very much aware of the sphere in which they are operating. So don't underestimate the traffic police. Don't think that they don't know anything and only you know law. Please don't have that kind of assumption, because they are very clear about law. Okay, and especially they know what are their powers. They know what they can do. And yeah, it's good to know, but then again, don't be too arrogant about it. Okay, so first thing what you have to remember is be cool and calm and composed. Okay, so don't jump up and don't start creating scene, and don't offend any person. So be polite and be respectful. Then again, don't be nervous. So because you know what are your grounds, so you know what you've done, and you know what are your responsibilities. So since you know all these things and you adhere to your rules, so all this, when you're done, then there's no point of getting agitated, anxious or anything about it. Many times what happens is when things go out of hand, especially with the traffic police, is people will start abusing, okay, or they will speak in a disrespectful manner. So please understand that you're talking to a person who is of authority, and who is in the uniform. So they have the powers. So you cannot abuse them verbally, or you cannot talk to them in a disrespectful manner. So please make sure that you are aware of those things. And second thing is that the way of handling things. Okay, there are two ways of handling things. One is being aware of your rules and talking it out in a respectful manner. Second is being arrogant and saying things which is not meant to be said. So usually what happens is things will go out of hand during that time, because if there is any sense of disrespect towards the police or towards their authority, then they have valid grounds to actually make things complicated for you. So this is one advice what I would like to give. And please, you have to remember that in India especially, if for example, if the police, especially during the night, okay, they have every right to even stop you and to test you for if there is any drugs, or if there is any kind of intoxicated substances which you have taken. Then in that case they have every right to stop the person and to even confiscate the license. So they even have the rights to do that. So you cannot deny their rights. So these rights are given under section 185 of Motor Vehicles Act, in which it says that driving by a drunken person or a person under the influence of drugs, okay, whoever, while driving or attempting to drive, in that case, if they have, especially if they have in their blood alcohol exceeding 30 mg per 100 ml, or it was detected by a breath analyzer in that case, or an influence of drug which is incapable of exercising proper control over the vehicle, in that case it may lead to imprisonment. Okay, imprisonment up to 6 months and a fine up to 2000 rupees. Okay, so in case of this is a habitual offense, like the person is a habitual offender, so this is not the first time. In the next time, then the the imprisonment can increase up to 2 years. Okay, and the fine may extend up to 3000 rupees. And if this is like more than 2 or 5 times, sometimes it's under the discretion of the court. So the judge may award as it seems fit, because this is endangering people's lives, especially because of driving with the influence of drugs and alcohol, is endangering people's lives, because of which they may give additional imprisonment or fine as per the court's discretion. And another important thing which has been changed as per the new amendments to the Motor Vehicles Act is something called as no fault liability. So what is no fault liability? Is if there's any road accident which happens on any kind of public roads and it is not a fault of anybody's, so it is just an accident, just an unfortunate incident which happened, and there is no fault of any person in that case, still the insurance will kick in case there is a disability or death. So for this, the compensation to be awarded is rupees 5 lakh in case of death, and rupees 2.5 lakh in case of a very serious injury, which is resulting in disability or permanent dismemberment, or even in case it's a serious injury for that person. Then in that case 2.5 lakhs can be claimed from the insurance under no fault liability clause. So they don't even have to prove that there is a issue with the liability of, usually it happens when there is an accident and they don't know which insurance will take an effect on, and before it was very mandatory that the fault has to be proven by the other party, only then the other party's insurance would pay. So there were many case laws regarding this, but thankfully they made this amendment where now no longer it is necessary to prove that if there's any fault. If there's no fault between both the persons and they both were rule abiding citizens, still the unfortunate incident of accident happened, then in that case no fault liability kicks in and the compensation can be claimed. So I hope I have answered most of the queries, and I know you must be having a lot of other questions also. So if you do have any questions, please put that in the comment box below and I'll try to answer it in my next video. And if you have any specific topics which you want me to make a video on, please put that in the comment box below. That also I'll take a look. And please be safe, drive safe, and be legally safe. Until my next video, bye.